One of the hottest holiday gifts around this year is the new suite of iPhones from Apple. And now our tech editor, Dan Halley, is going to tell you where the inside of your new iPhone 12 came from. Dan, good to see you. I know you're here to tell me that the inside of my new iPhone 12 Pro came from my hometown of Long Island, right? Talk to me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It also came from Central Jersey, where I'm from. Same difference, and that's the segment. I'll see you now. The iPhone has a lot of parts, and that's something that I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize, that they don't all come from Apple. Now, I'm going to walk you through a few items that you'll be surprised where they come from, and I think I want to start off with the screen. Samsung, one of Apple's biggest rivals in the smartphone game, actually produces the displays for the iPhone. It's Samsung and LG for the most part that have done it through the years. Samsung is known for making fantastic OLED displays, and that's why Apple has used them so often, and they're able to meet the rigorous standards that Apple sets for the display. So that Retina HD XDR display is really a Samsung screen underneath. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the same that you would get on a Samsung smartphone, but it is a Samsung screen. And then I want to talk about the actual processor, that A14 Bionic chip. That is an Apple designed chip, yes, but it's based on an ARM architecture. So this is something that ARM works with Apple for them to be able to look at, and then Apple is able to further customize it to their own liking. It's a 5-nanometer chip. It's the first 5-nanometer chip that's available on a wide consumer basis. So it really is a groundbreaking product. And it's something that, big name chip makers like Intel are still years away from being able to produce. So it's a very important part of this phone, obviously, because of the processor, but also because of the way Apple has been able to move into that space and essentially dominate it now for their own needs. And obviously, we've seen that with the MacBook Air and the M1. And then I just want to talk about the actual camera. The camera chip, or the CMOS sensor, is from Sony, believe it or not. Sony has been working with Apple for years. It's part of the reason why the cameras on the iPhone are so good. They also, run the gamut from the original iPhone 12, or the base iPhone 12, to the iPhone 12 Pro, and the 3 cameras on there. That difference being that there's the ultra wide and wide angle on the mini and standard iPhone 12, and then there's that telephoto on the Pro and the Pro Max. And I also want to talk about the 5G chip. The 5G chip inside the iPhone, this has been a big deal, and it's really the reason why the iPhone 12 is selling so well, is because, yes, it's an upgrade as far as the design, but it's the first 5G iPhone. And that 5G chip, believe it or not, comes from Qualcomm. Apple and Qualcomm had this long back and forth where they were trading barbs and lawsuits around the world, different regulatory bodies, but they finally came to an agreement, and now the Qualcomm chip is what powers 5G on the iPhone. But it's not going to be like that for long. Apple is working on their own 5G chip so that they won't have to rely on something like Qualcomm to put that into their product, and that'll obviously lower some of the overhead for them in producing that. And then finally, I just want to go over the battery for them. It comes from a company called Amperex Technology. The battery in the iPhone 12 Pro is larger than the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 mini. You're going to get a little bit more playtime out of those, but not necessarily a huge difference as far as the previous generation. But it does have wireless charging, and that's something that's important. And it uses a new standard for their wireless charging called MagSafe, where it allows the phone to actually connect physically to the wireless charger base. So it's not really wireless, but we'll say it is. Why not? It doesn't plug into the bottom of the phone. That's really the difference here, I guess. And then just one more, I want to go over the memory chip. Sometimes they're able to come from Samsung. Sometimes they come from a company called Kiaojie, and that's from Hong Kong, and they're able to produce those chips for Apple. So those are really some of the big name items that are inside the iPhone 12 Pro. And really, when you look at it, it comes together seamlessly, but there's plenty of different pieces in there that aren't necessarily from Apple. And we have this really cool graphic up on the site that allows you to zoom in and see the different parts of the iPhone in an exploded view. So I would go ahead and check it out.
Dan Halley, you have truly uncovered the great mysteries of the new iPhone. Thank you so much, as always.